Hey everybody, Mark Masters. It's Monday night. It's Always Bookin Comedy. We got Matt Greenwaldt out of Colorado, incredible showrunner, taught me some things. We're going to learn a lot from Matt today. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm psyched. I'm going to Chicago this weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I
Doing some
saw that on
shows at
your
the
book.
Laugh Factory, and then doing a kind of hell gig in Indiana. Hopefully they don't
Nice.
see this and hear me say that.
Yeah, Indiana's a great state.
Yeah. Well, the pay would say otherwise for
That's
this
fine.
particular gig.
Have you done a show in Indiana before?
You know what? I'm not sure. I have a map. You know what? I'm going to check right now. I have a map on my website. I've done like 39 states. I'm trying to get all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be another pin on the map.
No, I've done it. Kentucky right below it, I haven't, and Michigan right above,
Okay,
I have
well,
not. I
that's
don't
awesome.
remember what I did in Indiana. In the beginning, I even counted open mics. Like I
Yeah,
would just like drive across
yeah,
the border and do an open mic
yeah,
and be like, all right, I perform comedy there. It
yeah.
might have been one of those
Yeah,
situations.
I'm doing the same thing because I travel a lot for my day job, and it's
Yeah. Do you know how many states you've done?
I think 7 or 8. I mean, a lot
Okay.
of it's repeat states that I go to
Yeah.
for the job, but I all do the same if I'm near a border. It's like I'll just pop over to Louisiana, see what's
Nice.
going on.
Check it
But
off the list. What are some of the states you frequent?
yeah, Texas is a lot.
In a
Illinois, so
specific city or all over the place? Because
all
that's like
over,
it's a whole
man.
country down there.
Yeah, and it's in the comedy scene is different in every area. I mean, obviously Austin's fun. It's hot, and then I move around. So Dallas, San Antonio, Houston,
Nice.
all those areas. And then I've done Lubbock and like the little West Texas. I mean, it's
Do you have any flexibility on when you go to these places? Like,
yeah. So
can you
it's
dictate that? Because
yeah.
I might be running a show in the next like 6 to 9 months in San Antonio,
Oh,
and
sweet.
I'll get you on it if
No,
we
I
can
appreciate
kind of.
it. And that's similar to you talking about Indiana. It's like as long as my boss doesn't see this, yeah, I book my work around shows. So they're like, hey, you always book shows when you're on the road. It's like happens to line up, man.
Yeah. I'm a very popular comedian. I'm booked all over the place.
But it's good, man. I'm sure you know it too. Even if it's open mics, it's just fun to check out different
Yeah,
scenes.
it's way better. Like honestly, like no shade on Denver, which is a great comedy scene, which I've learned from going to so many scenes.
Yeah.
Like when I go to an open mic in Denver, it's one, they're just very crowded. There's a lot of comics. So, if you don't get lucky or know the right people, could be 2 to 3 hours or even
Sure.
longer before you get up to do 3 minutes in
Yeah.
front of a mediocre audience. But also like I've seen the jokes that are being told 100 times. Like none of the punchlines are really surprising. I mean, people do new stuff, but it's not that often. But you go to San Antonio, you've never been there. You watch
Yeah.
20 comics in a row, you've never seen any of them before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's funny too. I mean, I'll go some cities that are small and they're like, I think I was in Arkansas, in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and there was like 8 comedians. And he's like, we got the room for 2 hours, so everyone can do 15 if you
yeah,
want. Like, he's just like,
that's awesome. The other cool thing is when you show up there, sometimes like, yeah, I'm not a big deal in the Denver scene, but if I go to a small enough place, like I'm really good. I'm
yeah.
like, obviously better than everybody in the room. And that's
Yeah.
like, it's surprising to me. I mean, not anymore because it's just happened time and again, but it's, just
Yeah.
people also give you a lot of respect. They're like, oh, you're from the Denver scene because they've seen it before. They've had
Yeah.
other people come through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put myself on the same level, but I went to San Francisco. That's a market I go to a lot. And Kobos had recently been through and they were just like,
Yeah.
Denver's the best thing since sliced bread, but I'm not Kobos. Kobos is a
No,
he's
but
gonna
it
comedy
is
work.
hilarious. I'm
Yeah.
from Denver, and they're like, oh, like I've headlined so many open mics because I'll just go and be like, hey, I'm passing through. I'm at a conference or I have sales reps with me, so I bring a few people,
Nice.
and they're like, oh my god, you're from Denver. Do you want to close out the open mic? So it's like, yeah,
That's huge.
that's my joke and then they'll start dropping people's names. Like I know so and so from Denver, and we know Comedy Works, and oh my god, how do you do it there? But I just
That's so
did
funny.
Milwaukee, the Laughing Tap in Milwaukee,
I've never been there.
and
Cool.
it's kind of funny. It's a great little club, one of the only clubs downtown Milwaukee. But they do an open mic on Wednesdays, and you have to sign up. It's one of those, they sign up and they have like 7 bucket spots, and they draw a name, and someone gets to do 10 minutes. Everyone does 4, and someone gets to do 10. And I throw my name in the ring, and he like emailed me back immediately. It was like, "Do you want the 10-minute spot?"
Nice.
I was like, "Dude, I don't want to make everybody mad." Like, just he's like, "No, we love out of towners and Denver comedians. So go to Milwaukee." Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's good to know. Wednesday nights, Milwaukee. Go to Laugh and Tap.
Yep.
Do the open mic. Get 10 minutes. Probably. Was there a decent audience?
Yeah, it's you know a lot of those cities. A lot of the open mics will bring non-comics, and they'll pay or just get their drink minimums. But some of those cities, I'm blown away. You get 20, 30 audience members for an open mic.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It's awesome.
It's good. They're all good in their own way. It is funny, the smaller ones, but like you said, drop Denver, and they're like, "Whoa,
big city guy." throwing his elbows around.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah.
How is I've actually never been to San Antonio. How's their comedy scene? What's it like?
It's a good scene, a lot of bar shows, very rowdy crowds. And I've done 2 shows there. I mean, that's with me going to a lot of these cities repeating. I'll usually go to an open mic, make some contacts, and then it's like, "Hey, I run some shows. Can I get a guest spot on your show?" So you just, build this network. But San Antonio, they always fill the rooms. I mean, nice. I don't know what else is going on down there. They just love comedy. But there's not a lot. I mean, it's one of those cities where there's just not a lot of comedians. So they love out-of-towners.
Have you tried to run your own show anywhere outside of Colorado?
The only Rapid City, South Dakota, which is where I grew up. So
okay. I've been there. I've done some shows there.
Having connections. And there's a brand new club, little plug for West River Comedy Club. But there was not much comedy there, so a lot of people were just coming in with their own pop-up shows.
That's where Bosses was, right?
Yep. Zach Moss runs the Black Hills Festival. But I have some of my sisters in a lot of theater up there, so I have access to some community theaters and different things. So other than that, I haven't run any shows out of Denver. But that was still like a home base because that's where I grew up. And
right, where did you run it? Was it like a distillery or something like that?
Rapid City, at a theater, at a Playhouse Theater. So the Catalyst Theater. Yeah, it's a small box theater. I think it seats 50, so very intimate seating. But for me, growing up there, I still have a lot of high school friends there, and I can guilt trip them. Hey, you're coming.
Did you headline?
That was with, I did not. David Testro went up with me in headline.
Okay, yeah.
And then I went back. So Trevor Ryan, we're just name dropping this whole podcast.
Sure.
Trevor Ryan owns West River Comedy Club. He had started West River Comedy, and he was doing the brewery shows, the bar shows. And then I started just latching on with him. And then I would headline up there with him because it's I've got family and friends. We could fill a room. But then I haven't been at the club. I'm hoping to get up there this summer just with my schedule. But nice. they've been selling out. I mean, Zach Moss was the first headliner. They opened in January, I think middle of January, their first big show.
How big is it? Do you know how many seats?
I think he said it holds about 100.
Wow, that's pretty big.
It's an old improv space that he just remodeled and put a whole new.
They have alcohol?
Yeah, he got the license. It's funny you say that. I was helping him move chairs because he was just getting chairs and tables from friends and old places. And it was the day before they did a soft open. The liquor license got approved and they were good to go. So
that's why they serve food too.
Food, yep, they've got it all. So
are they only open like Friday, Saturday?
Open mic on Wednesday or open mic on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I think they're going to start doing like bingo nights and karaoke nights just to fill it up. But
pad it out. And is that his full-time gig? Or is it like a side hustle?
He dropped everything. Yeah, he dropped everything and full time. So check it out, West River.
Is he a comic too?
Yeah.
Nice, cool. So that's amazing. Do you know Tyler Corbijn?
Yeah. He's every show I've done in Rapid City, I think we've been on together.
Yeah, he was just in the Denver area. He hopped onto my Aurora comedy show.
Good.
I was on a show with him in Boston about a year ago and cross paths with him every once in a while.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, for me growing up, I grew up in South Dakota. There was a comedy club a long time ago when I was really young, and then they just had nothing, just no comedy scene. And so when I moved to Denver in 2007, and I had wanted to do comedy for a long time, and I just kind of drug my feet all the way until I was, mid-30s. Why not? but it was like I didn't have any opportunity growing up or going to college in South Dakota to start doing open mics.
Yeah.
And now they're rolling, and I'm happy for them because it's one of those towns. When I've did a couple of my own shows up there at the theater, they just don't. I joke because it's my home, but they just don't know how to comedy, or they didn't at the time. You know, it's like
Yeah.
everyone's yelling out stuff and talking during the show, and and now it's like they're turning into a pretty decent comedy town.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So is he doing like one show Friday, one show Saturday? So selling like 200 tickets a weekend, or is he doubling up? Or
I think that's the goal. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's
Anthony Crawford's there this weekend. It's a lot of Denver comics. So.
You know, as well as I do, it's not hard. It's not. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not easy to sell 100 tickets.
No.
You know, when was the last time you sold 100 tickets? Have you ever sold 100 tickets to a comedy show?
Yeah. I mean, I have, but it's not. I wouldn't say sell. I mean, a lot of the shows I produce there's an audience there. There's a marketing machine there. So they're all in the same neighborhood. They're all at the same office park. And that's, so yeah, we have, but if
you get like an entertainment budget from some sponsor,
lifestyle director, sponsors, but they're not monthly. They're not, I mean, they're quarterly shows. So it's like, it's great. They need entertainment in the community. But that was kind of my goal when I started, was let me kind of learn, get all the equipment, because I own everything now, a stage, backdrop, all the sound. And it's like, before I start taking on the risk of renting a venue and going out there, because like you said, when you're just throwing it out on Facebook ads or barking on the street, I mean, and then it's always last minute, right? So you know, 2 days before the show, you're like, all right, 7 tickets sold.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. I mean, I have this week, I'm running a show Wednesday, and that show's probably going to sell out. We've already sold 50 tickets. Like they're like 30 bucks and up. It's like serious, going to be really, really good. Feels like a comedy club. It's amazing.
Awesome.
And then on Thursday, I think we've sold like 7 tickets.
Yeah.
And it's Monday right now. So this isn't like 3 nights, 4 nights, whatever that is.
But it's like, you kind of know though, you'll wake up.
Yeah, I will get up to 20 easy.
Yeah.
You know, because they come last minute, but even 20 isn't awesome. In that same room, we've had 40, 50. Yeah. This happens like every third show, it seems like. Or just
That's the worst though, when you're like, you're a break-even point. And you're like,
I mean, it's so random. I mean, if you get one like 12-person birthday party come in, it's like that doubles your ticket sales. Right? Yeah. It's so frustrating. Sometimes, and it's so fun when shows sell out. Like this show on Wednesday, I'm hoping will sell out, and when it does, I will have people begging for tickets.
Right,
like people will pay $100. They don't care. It's a tourist vacation destination place. They got tons of money. They just want entertainment, and because it's sold out, they want to go. If it wasn't sold out, they probably wouldn't want to go.
Yeah, that's tricky too, because there's a lot of people that aren't from there, so they don't know about it. They're not plugged into the local calendars and things. So that is even an extra element of like, man, how do you?
Yeah, I'm getting lucky. I have a show on March 6th with Catherine Blandford. She's on a Tonight Show.
Very funny.
Jimmy Fallon, super funny. Lives in LA now. Used to be out of Atlanta. And somebody just bought a ticket today. This is so cool, from Pennsylvania.
Nice.
They're in Pennsylvania. They bought it from Pennsylvania, and they went to one of my shows last February. Awesome. I looked it up like in my system. I was like, why did this person buy a ticket?
Yeah.
And it turns out a year ago, they were on vacation in Colorado, and they went to one of my shows, and they just like Googled, like, is there a show? They're scheduled another vacation 13 months later. And they were like, oh, cool, there's a comedy show. I'm going to get tickets to it. So that makes it easier. Right? Like once there's some consistency and like word of mouth and repeat purchases.
It's an anxiety filled doing that, as you know, selling, running, working with venues, equipment. I mean, have you ever had this one? They buy a ticket and then oh shoot, we didn't mean to buy it.
Or I'm the Grinch, man. I'm the worst. You don't want to ask me that. Because I mean, I've gotten a little nicer over the years, but really the message is the same. I'm still saying, sorry, Charlie.
Yeah,
like there are no refunds. Yeah. All sales are final.
Yeah.
But what I do now is I just say like, hey, if you email me within a year, respond to this email and I'll get you some free tickets. Yeah. So basically you have credit.
Yeah. No,
it's so funny. I won't I don't refund.
Nope,
It's
you
too much
can't.
of a hassle.
Nope, you're paying fees as it comes and goes, and it's
Yeah.
like, why? No, I get that sometimes because I don't do a lot of like Eventbrite or promoting selling tickets. Sometimes it's like a small, like a $5 ticket, just so you can guarantee they come instead of just
Yep.
RSVPing
That's
for
so,
free.
what a difference that makes.
Yeah, and it's
$5 versus free.
right. And then it's like most of the time those ones aren't too bad, but the ones that are, you're relying on this to pay the talent, and it's like, yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I've
I've
only
had a
sold
few they
7
like
tickets. Your
explain.
2 tickets are 30% of the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some that are like,
And
oh, there's
honestly,
another
when
concert.
I do that, when I play the Grinch like that, a lot of times the people show up.
Sure.
So they're
Yeah.
just like looking, a lot of this is like psychology. Selling the tickets is like dealing with couples, because like you've always got like one of them wants to go, one of them doesn't want to
Yeah.
go. You put in a little bit of friction and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll go.
Right. Right. Just come
We
on,
were
come
going
on.
to go to my niece's
Yeah.
t-ball game or something. And they're like,
It's
well, but now we have to go to this comedy show.
it's yeah, you guilt trip them, but it's funny. There's so many factors and I've learned over the past 3 years, like just trying to figure out the timing, and then we live in a city where we have decent sports teams. So I first started running
Well,
shows when the Nuggets were in the finals, and it's like,
that's the worst.
can you just lose? Can you just get eliminated?
Yeah. The sports are, I mean, I used to love sports and now I kind of hate them.
No, I get it, and it's just so bad. And then you got to look at. I mean, I don't know if you do a lot of summer shows, but I try to
Yeah,
stay away
summers.
from.
I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like trying to figure out, like I book like 6 months in advance usually because I fly in a lot of comics, and
Yeah,
I'm like, maybe I I usually do like these 5, 6 night runs with these comics that fly in from New York or LA. And I think this summer I'm probably gonna do like 3 night runs.
yeah, it's
If
tough.
I do anything, I might even skip a whole month, like skip
Yeah,
June, skip
yeah,
July. It's so hard in
yeah.
the summer.
Tough. Do outdoor shows. Then you got
No,
to
I
worry
hate
about the weather.
Do you do that? Tell me
I
about it.
haven't. I've got one in the works actually. It's
I
a
can't say
golf.
I tell it. I have so many venues that would tell me, "Hey, we only have 50 seats, but we can do like 200 outside." And right away, I'm like, I won't do an outdoor show. I'm
I
sorry.
am
Let's
so
do 50.
hesitant.
It'll be awesome. We'll get 60 people in there. It will be amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm so hesitant, but I'm working on one. It's gonna be. Well, we've got a new one coming in March at South Suburban Grill on the golf course, but we're doing indoor shows now, and they want to do a show on the green and like set up a tent and chairs on the green.
Oh, well, the tent, that's fine.
But
The
I'm
problem with
still like,
outdoors is you want a low ceiling in comedy. There's no ceiling. The
yeah,
laughs are just disappearing.
yeah, and I'm so hesitant though too because I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. I was like, first of all, it
A
stays
tent can
light
be
out.
good. A tent can be good. Like
Yeah,
like the kind of tents they put up, those are expensive tents. I
yeah,
mean, they're not talking like a Coleman you're gonna see on the 16th Street
right.
Mall. They're like these wedding, they're
Yeah,
like a
yeah, and
real
that's
roof.
fine, but they want to do it on the green of a hole,
Yeah, that's
and I'm
cute.
like,
That's
that's
cool.
cool, but are like, do we have to like move when they're putting? Like, what are we like?
Oh,
Because
I see.
I
It's not
mean,
like hole hecklers. Have you heard of that?
I love that. Yeah, I'm actually doing that in July as my day job. I'm going out and because that's another thing. I don't know, other jobs I've had. It's like they found a year comedian and they're just like, let's have you do
Take
this or come.
advantage. Yeah.
You're at a dinner and they're like, get up on stage, and it's like, no, that's not how this works. Like,
Yeah.
but they did. It's a golf tournament in the travel industry where I spend my daytimes. And they were like, I kind of proposed the idea. They're like, they're all into it because I love it. Just
Where is it?
it's in Chicago. It's I don't know the name of the course. I don't even know if
That's
they have
fine.
it.
Chicago's good enough. It's gonna be hot. Holy cow.
Yeah, July. I think it's
Oof,
like July 12th or something. So
brutal.
it'll be hot, and they're just like, if you can just keep it somewhat clean. I'm like, we'll see. If I'm hot and everyone's in a bad mood and they're horrible golfers, we'll see.
That's hilarious. Are you gonna have power or are you gonna bring battery powered speakers?
They're setting it all up. They said there'll be speakers. So,
Nice. Sweet.
yeah, I've seen the guys. They like hang it over they hang a speaker over their neck like a necklace.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good, man. It's been, traveling's good for me. I'm gone every other week and getting to do different things. But Chicago is one of the repeats a lot. So I've been doing a lot, like the Comedy Bar downtown. And
Nice. Yeah. I haven't been there since before the pandemic.
Yeah, just getting booked on those shows. I mean, it's a lot, and they're doing a lot of bar shows around. I mean, they're very similar to Denver. You can find 3-4 shows a night if you really
Yeah.
want.
Oh yeah. There's so much comedy in Chicago. It's crazy. Do you know do you know who Chris Higgins is by any chance?
I do not.
No, he's a Chicago comic. He grew up in Colorado. Super
Okay.
funny.
Yeah,
Seems
it's fun. I mean, just to say I perform in Chicago. I've done Seattle. I've done Minneapolis, the Sisyphus Brewery.
Oh yeah, that's a cool room.
It's a great room, and that's the kind of thing is I usually, whether I'm alone or I have people with me, it's like they're like, "Where are you taking me?" And it's like,
Yeah, it's in a weird area.
Like, where are you guys gonna do the show? And I'm like, don't worry, you go in the back, and it's just this beautiful club.
Yeah, so cool.
But
That's rad. Wait, let's talk about equipment a little bit. Over the years, have you changed your equipment at all? What's something you don't like anymore? Something you do like?
yeah, well, I'm currently trying to learn soundboards and try to, because I've just run the Bluetooth and connect the music, but I've upgraded the speakers a lot, upgraded the backdrop, the curtain, just try to add every couple months. I just try to add. Spotlights are the worst. I think you and I did a show where we had a little light.
It's like a flashlight, basically.
Yeah, but then
I have that light. I have 4 of them actually.
I've got small. I just bought this follow spot, which it works if you have like 100-yard room where you can like we've set it up in the front and then it's just
Covers the
headlights
whole
right
wall.
here.
Yeah.
But equipment. I mean, I'm big on the full production. So music, intros, lights. Let's make it look good and sound good instead of just I walk up, hey everybody, we're gonna start the show. It's like I'll have recorded intros for whoever's hosting, and but soundboard right now is kind of the next game I'm trying to play. So
nice. Do you have one already? Did you buy one?
I do. Yeah, it's a small one. It's just learning.
That's all you need. I mean, you just need a couple inputs.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then just having someone to run it, because now we have. I mean, I also have an 8x4 platform stage too.
Whoa!
Which
does it fold up to go into your car?
I have a truck. It lays in the back. I thought it folded up, but it doesn't. So it's just an 8-foot. It fits in the truck. But it's like,
can you carry it yourself, or does somebody else have to help you?
I got it in the truck myself. But it's like I'm gonna have to start hiring people to come run sound and carry stuff. It's like it's awesome. You show up, we've got everything. You walk in, and then all of a sudden we move this big stage in. I mean, it's not that huge. I mean, it's 8 foot by 4 foot. So
I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, I carry equipment for a living. That's what I do. Like on Wednesday, I'm driving almost $10,000 worth of equipment, 2 hours. My car is like floor to ceiling, full of stuff. I put it into a cart. I drag the cart in. It takes half an hour. I turn some random restaurant, in this case, a Mexican restaurant, into a comedy club.
Awesome.
3 hours later, all the equipment is back in my car, and I'm driving away.
Yeah.
So, but I know how big 8 foot by 4 foot. That's ridiculous. That's large.
Yeah. No, and it's awesome. I mean, it's very sturdy.
How tall is it? 8-inch?
It can go from it's 14 inches. It can go 14 to 28 inches. You can adjust.
You have a skirt for it?
I'm working. I don't have one yet. I literally got it 2 weeks ago. And it's funny, I knew it was gonna be a beast, but
did it come in like a semi-trailer, like to your house?
Yeah, so I ordered it through Uline, the equipment company, and all of a sudden I get these texts, FedEx freight will be there between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. This guy shows up with the huge truck, just lowers it down with this pallet jack, sets it right in front of the garage.
Your problem now, buddy.
I get home, I'm like, I thought this thing folded. But
I have an extra, if anybody wants it out there, I have an extra 3 foot by 3 foot stage. I have 2 of those that fold. So then they're 1.5 foot wide and 3 foot long, fits in most cars pretty easily. But by accident, I ordered last year a 3 foot by 3 foot that doesn't fold. And so I just have it. If anybody wants it, like honestly, you can just have it. You can get the risers for it. And
like if anyone wants my 8x4 stage, you can just rent a truck and grab it. You're going to need a semi truck, but
also I have a ton of lighting stuff. We should talk offline. Like I've added and added. I'm now up to like, I almost don't want to say, because I don't want somebody to steal it someday.
Right.
But like with all the attachments and stuff, it's almost $3,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My latest spotlight.
I've
And I
gone,
started with those same lights you used to have that were like $40.
yeah,
So I went from like $40
yeah,
to like a couple $100 to like $800
yeah, yeah.
and
That's
I'm up to like 2-3 grand.
yeah. No,
And I have all the old stuff. So if
I
anybody out
pump
there is,
everything I make from comedy back into buying this stuff, and it's like pretty soon I'm gonna need a whole production truck. And it's
yeah,
like, but I go to the like I think the Guitar Center, and they have all the speakers and lights, and I'll just go dream and plan and play with all the sound and the lights.
yeah,
But that's been my goal. I mean, just to take this equipment everywhere and set up shows. I mean, I want
it's
to do it
fun.
right. You
Isn't it
know,
cool? Like at the end of the show, when somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, that was really fun. Thank you." Because they
yeah,
saw
no,
you hauling your stage in and they
that's
saw
the
you
best.
host and
Yeah,
you weren't the headliner, you didn't get all the glory, but
no,
people recognize
yeah.
still, like you
No.
probably checked them in at the door.
Yeah, no, yeah, you know, I checked him in. I probably answered questions a week before the show
Yeah.
about how long it's going to be. Is it going to be clean?
Yeah.
And then they saw me lighting people, and then, but that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why on the producing side, obviously performing first for me, but it's like I just want to create opportunities, and that's why investing in this equipment is great for if anyone needs to use it. But having it as just a quality show. I mean, that's the goal is. And the stage is funny. Like I'll probably only use it a few times a year with venues that need it, but it's also like
Well, it's
it's
good to
just
have.
yeah,
Every
no,
once
it's
in a
what
while, there'll be a venue that will want that, and
I
you're probably the only producer in the Denver area that actually has one. I mean, anybody
done.
could go rent one, but
Yeah, no, that's the goal is to just create opportunities that are quality.
yeah.
And that's why as I perform more and get booked on other shows, it's we don't judge each other, but it's nice to kind of learn what works. And like I'd like to see your lights because I don't really have much with lights, so it's like, but maybe I have something you don't have, and it's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
I do tell. I mean, I don't necessarily want to say this on the public YouTube thing, but I do tell Denver comics all the time. If you need to borrow equipment, I've
Yeah,
got it. Like you can
yeah,
just take it anytime. Like I trust people. I'd give you $1,000 light,
yeah.
and you're not going to break it. I don't think.
No,
Uh,
that's what it's all. I got insurance, so
yeah, yeah. And then if you like it, you can go out and buy your own, or you
yeah,
might be like, yeah, this is pretty good, but there's probably something slightly different.
yeah,
And let's talk about how you get venues. I think a lot of people are interested in that. How do
yeah.
you how
I
do you
mean,
how
I've
do you create
always
these
I mean,
opportunities?
it's sales, right? So I've always done sales, and I've always, when I got into this, I mean, I kind of the reason I fell in love with performing was just writing a joke and watching it get to the final part, and watching, you tighten it, you go to open mics, it sucks, you tweak it, you add it, and then you get that final one. Like that's what I fell in love about performing, and now I'm falling in love with producing because you go to these venues that have never done this before, and they never thought about it. They're doing trivia nights, they're doing karaoke nights, but they've, oh, this would be cool. They don't know a thing. So they don't know where they're going to put you. You set up the room, you make it look like a club. They don't have sound. They have 100 windows, so the light is off. But when getting to that point, and that's what I try to, when I approach venues, obviously, backing up a little bit, I try to stay away from the bar shows. I know a lot of people do a lot of good jobs at the bar shows. I want a community center. I want a neighborhood rec center, an apartment community room where they're already doing these things, like live music night or bingo or trivia. So finding them is just simple. I'm old school sales. Just pick up the phone. It's a no if it's a no if you don't ask. So but I try to stick around the outskirts of Denver too. And I know you're more mountains a lot,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I have the same. It's probably the same reason you stick to the outskirts. Like
Yeah.
I've run shows in Denver. I do run shows in Denver. They suck. They're
Mm.
like it's so hard to get people to. There's just so much to do in Denver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where if you go if you go to a smaller community, it's awesome.
Yeah.
People are so grateful you're there. They'll buy
Or,
tickets. They'll buy tickets early. They're,
I
you
mean,
know,
I've tested even the bars with the locals. Again, that's I shouldn't share too much of my secrets because he found a niche, but it's like people that are already going there, they're just not getting comedy, and that's what's fun for me is when you put it together, you make whoever the venue manager is, you make them look good, and they're pumped, and part of that is when I'm selling it is I've got good equipment, or we're going to make it a full production. We're going to play music. We're going to have intros. We're going to, make it a good, fun lineup. I've done senior centers, retirement communities.
What do you think of those? I just did one. It was pretty awful, to be honest.
They're all fairly awful, but I love it because you're giving it to them, and a lot of times they're afternoon shows or morning shows.
Yeah,
So
that's great. Mine was I had a show that night. Thank God, because I did. I mean, Matt, I've not bombed that hard in forever. Half the people couldn't hear me.
Right.
The other half
Yeah.
didn't know. I should have been telling jokes about apple picking or something.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Yeah.
It felt like they were 200 years old. They didn't know anything.
The funniest thing about those is they always, whoever the lifestyle director is, will be like, yeah, we'll do it. It has to be clean. And then you line up clean comedians. You line up people who are used to doing this. And then after the show, these old people are like, we wanted dirty jokes. Like,
yeah,
they start telling you jokes that they wanted to see.
I mean, the staff at the show I did loved it. They thought it was hilarious, but they were like half the age of the actual audience.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We got a question online from North Carolina.
I saw that. Yeah, perfect.
How do you find out who wants to book comedy at non-traditional venues like you just mentioned, apartment complexes, HOAs, whatever?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I just call until I find the person who does the entertainment. Pick up the phone. I mean, I'm not a big email person, but a lot of these communities, the retirement centers, let's just talk about that. That's the perfect model because there's one person and their sole job usually is to just entertain the residents. So apartments have that. All these communities have that. Rec centers, they have people who have a budget to book it.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. And I'll call through. A lot of times, this is my sales coaching coming out, but a lot of times when you're just, who books the entertainment for your residents? And the person who answers will be like, oh, she's gone or he's not in right now, but they'll give you the name right away. It's Joe. And it's like, then I'll call every day. And I need Joe. Give me Joe. And then the other side of that is I like to go face-to-face with the venue. So I've dropped in. You just drop in. You go into
do you have like a presentation thing, like an iPad with pictures of your shows, or like?
I have some paper with pictures, or I've scrolled through my phone because I've
thought about doing that. But
that's a big one.
I haven't gotten it together yet, but I feel like that would be pretty compelling. I have all the media. Yeah,
and to show them that it works. I mean, I've got pictures from senior centers, so I can show them this is what it looked like, and I'm blessed. I have a sister who's graphic designer, so she does all our posters and marketing materials. But it's like it's very, very easy to show examples, and once you build it up, it's like, and again, I create the urgency. It's like because a lot of places are like, yeah, we really want to do this. We thought about this before, and it's like, well, we got to book early. I'm booking up. We can't just do middle of the week. We want to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows to get the most out of it. And it's like, we're full. So make them know that they need to get on the ball. So
yeah. Nice.
Question. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, we got to wrap this up. Last question. How long have you been doing comedy? And if you could go back and tell yourself something at the beginning, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I'll keep it quick. But for a while, I was dragging my feet. 2019, I decided I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start doing open mic, start writing. I went to like New Talent Night at Comedy Works to watch. I kind of wanted to see what I needed to do. And then essentially right as I started going to open mics, COVID shut everything down. So my first like real show was on Zoom, which is like this, you don't know if anyone's even paying attention. You can't hear the feedback because they were all muted. But I started during COVID. Okay. And I think honestly, if I could go way back to like college, I just would have told myself, do it then. I should have started a lot sooner. But I drug my feet and really about the last 3 years, it's when it's really taken off, obviously, because things opened up. But a big part for me was just doing it. I mean, I shouldn't have drugged my feet. So
nice. So if people want to see one of your shows, they have to rent an apartment in an apartment complex where you run shows.
Oh no, they're mostly public. So
okay.
MattGComedy.com. I've got all my calendar.
Sorry, say it again.
MattGComedy.com.
MattGComedy.com. Matt with 2 T's.
Yeah, I got merch on there now. We got more videos coming, but yeah, it's like you said, we're all getting booked more. Shows are filling up, so I've got my calendar there. But if you have to rent an apartment to get in there, it'll tell you. It'll say private.
It's awesome, Matt. This has
Free
been a very
ticket.
fun conversation, very organic. So
thank
great
you.
job.
Yep.
And everybody tune in next Monday. We'll be back. Always Booking Comedy. Stick around for a second, Matt. Thanks, everybody.